What's going on YouTube? OCD for EDC here. And what I got for your face balls today is a little mod video. So if you watched the review that I did of the Ohlone knives goat, you'll notice or recognize that this is a piece of it. And in order to do the mods that we're going to do to this knife, or a portion of it anyway, these inlays, they gots to go. So I'm going to show you how to get those inlays out. You can see here that these inlays are glued in. And so we're going to go through that process kind of step by step. But before I do that, I got a couple of things to show you. First off, new OCD for EDC stickers. This is actually the case for my calipers that I use. And so, you know, I'm like a little child. Stickers just came in today, so I had to stick one on something, you know. So I figured I'd stick one on here just to show it off, but you can see there it's got the YouTube play button, got the little Instagram logo, and then the American flag background. And guys, leave comments down there. Guess what knife that is? That's actually a knife, a real knife that exists. It's actually one that you've seen on my channel before. And one of these days I'll tell you how this came to be. However, we'll see how many people actually guess the correct knife. But if you guys want one of these stickers, hit me up. I will, you know, we're going to give some away for prizes. These are not like the previous stickers that I had. They're like an all-weather sticker, vinyl, whatever, you know. So anyway, they're really nice stickers, and I think they turned out pretty cool. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed them as well. All right, one more thing. Since I got the Ohlone Knives Goat from Mr. Aaron Park at Northwest Knives, I'm going to throw it out there again. You guys go check out Northwest Knives. There's his website right there, Meridian, Idaho. It's right across from the Villages in suburb of Boise. But Northwest Knives is an awesome shop. Check Aaron out. And if you mention my channel when you order a knife from him, you will get a free t-shirt just like this one. Well, in whatever color you want. So, they're really nice shirts. This is the back of the shirt. There's another logo on the chest of the shirt. Really cool shirts. So, go get your free t-shirt. All right. Now, I said all that because over here, I have a soldering iron that is warming up. So I needed to give it a few moments to warm up here, and we should be pretty good to go. So I've got one scale. I've tried to do a little bit of prep work as much as possible anyway, off camera, just so we can get ready for this. So I've got one scale that are just in, this is just a set of ice grips. I'm just using it to hold on to the scale nice and tight. And I've just got a white washcloth here just to protect the scale from getting scratched up. You can see here, I have drilled a hole in the back. So a lot of times when you have inlays like this that don't have any hardware in them to hold the inlay in, for those that don't know, they've actually glued those inlays down. So sometimes in some knives, you will see a hole just like I've done right here. And the hole is to allow air to escape because the inlays fit so tight. And it's also a place for any excess glue or adhesive to come out of. But in this one here, they did not put a hole on the backside. And I wanted to do this. I thought about filming the actual making of the hole. However, I chose not to just because it's kind of messing around. But I'll explain to you how I did it. So I did it with just standard tools, you know, some stuff that anybody would have. I didn't do this in a mill or anything like that. I did it with just a straight up drill bit. And, you know, on a drill bit, you've got your tapered edge or the tapered cutting surface of the drill. So that leaves, you know, material down there. So you don't want to drill all the way through your inlay. I don't know if you'll be able to see that hole in there or not. But so what I did to expose the carbon was drilled down just till the very tip of the drill bit went through the titanium. I measured the thickness of it, and I measured the thickness of the inlay to know how thick it was. Actually, I don't have the inlays here. My wife is here with me as well. Will you hand me that black box over there? So I was lucky enough to have the inlays right here. So I took this one right here and I measured the thickness of it, and then I measured the thickness of the whole entire scale, inlay and all, and then subtract the difference, and I knew how thick the titanium was underneath the inlay.
Math.
Math. So anywho, so I drilled deep enough just to where the very tip of that drill bit was exposing the carbon fiber on the backside. And then what I did was I used, this happens to be a Milwaukee. This is just a cordless Dremel is all it is. And I used a square end mill bit, just like this right here. So it's round, but it's flat on the end. And so using it vertically, I was able to mill out that titanium to expose and open that hole up where the drill bit, I just had a tiny little dot in the center that was exposing the carbon, and then I finished it out with that little bit right there. So that's something that, anyone can do at home if you have a Dremel, or as LTK calls it, a Dremel. Yeah. So anyway, any Dremel will work. You don't have to have this one or anything like that. So, however, I do endorse this one. This is the Milwaukee M12. It's a great tool. I just recently got this. I like it quite a bit. It works extremely well. So what we're going to do is we're going to heat this up and hopefully get this on camera. And then by using that hole, I'm going to push the scale up, and if all goes to plan, I'm going to pop that inlay right up out of there. And now when doing this, you don't want to heat it up with a flame or anything like that. You just want to put nice gradual heat. All we're looking to do is get it warm enough to break the adhesive loose. And then when I get all that done, this is actually something I made a couple of years ago for my wife and some other family members. They're like hot plates to put stuff on, so we're going to use that to set some hot parts on. So all I'm doing is I'm holding this soldering iron flat onto the bottom of this scale, and like I said, I'm just going to warm it up. I don't really have a good reference to tell you here, other than if you start seeing a bunch of smoke, you stop. So we're just going to hold it there for, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds, 40 seconds, something like that. Again, all soldering irons, time's going to vary based on the wattage of your soldering iron and what you're trying to heat up. But we don't need to, cook anything crazy here. We're just trying to break that adhesive loose. So we'll go for a few seconds here. And I can kind of smell that it's, we're probably, hopefully, might be good there. And then I'm just, so we're really good. So now I just used a little driver. I don't know if you guys can see the smoke there, but you can see the adhesive that was down in there. And you can see my hole's not perfectly round. I just went until I exposed enough that I could get a tool up through there like so. And then I'll clean this hole up now that the inlay is out, and we'll let that cool off. But let me set that down. All right. Now, get that pushed off to the side there. Now this one's the easier of the two on the lock side. So you can see we can get underneath this inlay with the flat blade screwdriver underneath where the lock bar is, as well as the lock bar relief cut. So that one's a little easier to deal with, but we're going to go ahead and do the same exact thing. I'm just putting the scale inside my washcloth right here. This is something I lift it off a comfort in.
Oh my God.
You know, so
Got too many.
I appreciate that. You know, you need towels for the shop, and sometimes you forget to, put those back. So anyway, I'm just clamping that in there just to hold it. And then again, we're going to take our soldering iron. Now, on this tip here is actually, it's got kind of a pointed tip. I actually pulled that out. You can see the screw hole right there. There's a set screw that goes in that to hold that center section. I flipped it around the other direction just because I didn't want the pointed tip for this, and I didn't want it sticking into my rag. But I'm just going to hold this underneath the scale, and we're just going to warm it up for a bit to pop that glue loose. So again, if you start seeing a lot of smoke or, you know, things start changing colors, definitely stop. Yeah, abort mission. But you can kind of smell it. And again, you know, you're just going to have to kind of, I don't know what to tell you about the time. You're just going to have to kind of play around with it. And, you know, there's no harm in trying it and seeing if it will come loose. All right, now I can actually see a little bit of smoke there. So I'm going to try and lift it. We don't want to get too carried away. Starting to come. It's loose up here in the front, but not completely in the back, so we need to warm it up a little bit. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of with the soldering iron. I don't want to burn my rag.
Don't know where you'll get any more.
Yeah, they're hard to come by. So I'm just trying to warm up the back side of this. You want to grab that screwdriver right there. Yep. And put it right in that lock bar relief cut right above my soldering iron, and just a little bit. There you go. Perfect.
Pop it.
Just like so. What's going to work?
Teamwork.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
You want to get this? Ooh, is he
Here,
hot?
move.
Oh,
There we go.
man hands.
Man hands.
Yikes.
All right. So now unplug the soldering iron, which I just did. Okay. Now we're going to unclamp this one. There we go. And I'll show you. It's a little warm, but not terrible. But you can see there the glue that was in there. And you can see the glue on the back side of the inlay. You can also see where I drilled that hole. So I did drill actually I didn't even go through the glue all the way. So that was perfect. I didn't get into the carbon fiber at all. I just got into the layer of glue, which is fantastic. And like I said, you can tell my hole is not round on the inside. It's because I just did that by hand. I just needed, I just used, this was a T7, and stuck that up through there to push my inlay up out of there. So now that the hole's there, and like I said, I'll clean the hole up. You know, you can see here that the hole's not perfect. You can see on the inside, but I'll get it all cleaned up, and I'll just match the hole size to the other holes that are already in the scale, so it looks like it was supposed to be there. And then, you know, if ever in the future, since this one you can, that one is warm.
That's hot.
Yeah.
No touch.
Like a dumbass, I picked it up. Because you can get the screwdriver under that one's not a big deal. However, this one, you do need a hole to be able to get that out. Otherwise, you know, you'll be in there with picks and stuff and trying to pick it out from the side, and that just doesn't work well. You definitely don't want to mess around like that, because you'll end up tearing up your inlays. Now, I happen to be lucky enough that we have all the colors. So thank you very much to Derek and William for getting all of these inlays. Derek Costa, the designer of the Ohlone shark, sent me these inlays because the owner of this knife, this is being passed along to one of my viewers, and he wanted to check out some other colors. So you can see here, I'll show you. So for example, here's the marble carbon fiber with blue inlay, and this one is for the show side, and this one is for the lock side. And you can tell that because there is a milled out path across the bottom here, or on one side, and the show side inlay does not have that. The other thing you notice on all of these, you moving around is shaking everything.
Sorry.
You can see here on the inlays these holes, and you know those I'm sure served a couple of purposes. They were probably there for fixturing when they manufactured these, to make that outside shape as well as the contour, because these are slightly contoured. However, those also would serve a purpose for excess glue to go into those holes if you had a little bit too much adhesive when you go to glue it in. But now that we have a hole in the bottom, that will certainly help. But I can show you real quick what this would look like if we were to put the blue inlay. If I put it in the right direction. So I might need to kind of fit these up a little bit. So that's what the goat looks like with the blue.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Molly really likes the blue. So you can see now that I've got that hole there, I can just pop these in and out. And then we'll check it out. Here it is with the marble carbon fiber. So still not 100% sure which inlay we're going to go with. Man, those fit really nice.
That's equally good. Equally beautiful.
Yeah, the marble carbon fiber's really, really nice looking. There we go. And then with the red, come on. They fit so tight in there that you have to go in just straight or they don't work. That's what it looks like with the red.
That looks pretty cool too.
Yeah, for sure. So we will definitely, I will get all this glue cleaned up, and we will get these things looking absolutely beautiful. I'll get this hole cleaned up, and we will start doing the beautification process. Yeah, it's cooled off now. You can see I've removed the lock bar insert. So these are plain Ohlone goat scales with some glue mess on them that needs to be cleaned up. So the next time you see this, I'm not going to video the cleaning of the glue process. I think you all understand how that's going to work. It's just going to be elbow grease. So, but the next installment, we will actually start to make this thing beautiful, and then we will start selecting which colors we're going to do and what the finished product is going to look like. So anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you learned something on how to take out inlays. And you can see here that both of these inlays, these are the OGs. They are completely undamaged. They do have glue on the back, which is easily taken off. You know, even if you have to sand it off, not a big deal. You just don't want to take off too much material. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. And that's about all I had for your face balls today. So, any comments, questions, whatever, leave those below. But next time, we will start making this goat a beautiful one. Later.
Bye.